And we're live. Cool. So there is this handout everyone should have. This is called Creating Job Offers, and we're going to help you with your resume. So to start off, as far as why this is important, why is this important? Why even pay attention and take notes on this workshop is you'll probably see on the screen right now is that back in 2012, job replacement firm Adecco did a study, and they did this whole survey, and it stated that 60% of U.S. college graduates cannot find a job in their chosen profession upon college graduation. And you'll see all the different highlights that are on the screen, but 41% are earning $25,000 or less. 42% were living at home with their parents. So there's a lot of these concerning results that were out there. So I decided to put this workshop together because I have found that a lot of times when students go into the real world or go outside of Cutco and Vector and they go in for job interviews or even inside Cutco and Vector, they just don't have the proper etiquette. So we're going to talk about etiquette before the interview, etiquette during the interview, and etiquette after the interview. And those are a couple of things. And of course, we're going to hit on specifically what to do with Mr. Gamboa next week. Okay? So let's start with this question. What are most companies out to accomplish? What do you think is the answer to that question? Whether it's Mr. Gamboa running a division, whether it's interviewing for a hospital, whether it's interviewing to work for any Fortune 500 company, whether it's to open up your own business. What is every company out to accomplish? Even if you're running a nonprofit trying to ask the bank to borrow money to open up your business, that's an interview. What is every company out to accomplish?
Make money.
That's it. Number one, they don't care about anything else. Bottom line, they can say they care about everything else, but number one thing is profit. Profitability is the number one focus because the business cannot operate with profitability. So you've got to be profitable. Now, how do they create profits? Through three things. What are those three things? New revenue, meaning generating new business. So if I'm a hospital, as sad as it sounds, how does the hospital run? Is by generating new patients, right? That's why if you drive down US 19, you'll see on the side of the road, there's that little sign, that billboard, wait time, patient wait time. I don't know if you ever see this, if you ever go north on US 19, but that's what it's advertising to say, hey, come to our hospital when you get hurt, right? So that's advertising. But they could be great doctors, but if they don't run a great business, then they're not going to profit and the hospital's going to shut down. So it doesn't matter what business you're in. Cut costs. They want to lower expenses and also generate repeat business, making sure that if it's a hospital, they have a good experience, then patients want to come back next time they get injured. It doesn't matter what business, but as a division manager of Vector Marketing, Mr. Gamboa, that's his same goal. He wants to run a profitable business. How does he create it? Well, new business. What creates new business for our division? That's recruiting, PRs, right? Cut current costs, lower expenses. That's not necessarily where you guys can cut them into play other than, I don't know, not spending as much money on like dinner if he invites you out, like at the VIP night, like don't order 2 appetizers, something like that. I don't know. But generating repeat business would be, of course, treating your customers the right way or making sure that you continue selling Cutco, right? So generating repeat business. So let's prove the point further. This is how they seek profits through great customer service. So this is AT&T. What do they say? We're looking for a diverse group of experts to understand, to mobilize a world that works for people. Leaders who want to help people and want to help lives and grow their business. So essentially they want to lead through people. Got it? So their goal as a business is to run a profitable business, but they want to do it through treating their people right. Our business is no different. Every business wants to create profits and lead through their people. The best way possible. In order to position yourself best way possible, let's go to this handout now. I'll go to that stuff here in just a moment with Amy Cuddy. So let's go to before the interview. Things that you can do before the interview to prepare yourself. Now that you know that a business's goal, number one thing is profitability, and number two, they want to create those profits through great people. Before the interview comes up, you want to prepare yourself. So there's a couple of different ways to prepare yourself. The first one is before the interview. So number one is prepare a portfolio. As far as a resume, the resume, you have 6 seconds to create an impression. So you want to quantify your past experiences. Here at Vector, it's easy. So on the vector resume, what are some things that we can quantify here in our Cutco vector resume? So let's take a moment and write down the things that you can quantify. What are the things that you can quantify? So your career sales, right? So you can your CPO of how much Cutco you've sold, and then you have how many orders you've actually placed, right? What else can you quantify here? So how many how many people you've recruited to the team? That's another one you can quantify. What else can you quantify?
Recommendations.
You can quantify how many recommendations. So how many leads have you generated? So many names and numbers you have. What else can you quantify?
How many appointments you've done?
You can quantify how many appointments you've done. If you've kept track of that, that's a great one. I mean, I don't know how detailed you guys are with that one, but it's easy to contract the sales, but.
Appointments after the interview?
Yeah, so you wouldn't necessarily put that on the resume, but definitely something worth mentioning, like, hey, I have this many appointments set up after this meeting with you, for sure. For that interview specifically, you can quantify how much money you've saved. Not how much you've earned, how much you have saved. How do you do that? Through the withholdings, which is great. You can quantify that. Because that's one of the challenges of young people. You guys make a big chunk of money. You go buy nice things. That was Will Lovelace that last summer, by the way. I mean, the guy made more money than anyone else, and he spent more money than anyone else, unfortunately. Like, he's like, oh, I could buy a new computer, but instead I'll spend more money to buy one that I have to build. What? That even makes sense. It makes sense. It's like you could buy one for $1,500. It's already put together for you. He's like, no, I'll spend $3,000 and fix it myself. What? I don't get it. But, like stuff like that. Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it. So I think that's a good one you can quantify for sure. Another couple that might come to mind is how many field trainings you've conducted, how many interviews how many applicants have you interviewed for those of you that have run interviews, how many PRs you've set up for those of you that have started setting up your own PRs. These are other numbers that you can quantify. And then once you have run a branch, how many people you've launched, like how many kids you've trained. So these are all ways to quantify numbers for your resume. Now, non-Cutco quantifies. What are non-Cutco things that you can quantify? What do you think?
Previous jobs.
So,
How
how
much you've saved from previous jobs.
maybe savings from previous jobs, potentially, sure. What else? GPA was the one that came to my mind. So GPA is a way to quantify your academics, right? You could also quantify how many college credits you earned when you were in high school. That's a number that you can quantify. An experience you can quantify. With athletics, you can quantify, any like records that maybe you set for, your school or whatnot, any of that type of thing. Awards is under certificates, I would say, but you could put that under quantify. Like if there was like reached a certain placement, like nationally ranked number 2 in dance or something like that I can quantify my ranking.
Yeah.
But if it was a certificate or an award, that would be under a different section.
Would volunteer hours or like
Great one.
service?
Yeah, that's a great one. Thank you. So that would be volunteer hours is a great one to quantify for sure. Community service hours. Any guesses on why you want to quantify the numbers and not just put the activity?
Because numbers stand out.
Got it.
6 seconds.
6 seconds. The numbers stand out. Anyone can put that they learned a skill, but how much, how often, by when, like that's what stands out on an application. You see, I was a good student. How good?
That's what everyone's application says.
Got it. They want the numbers. How many, how often, by when, where'd you rank, what percentage, stuff like that. Cool. Any other questions on as far as how to quantify experience with resume? Feel pretty good? Okay. As far as blank paper for notes, you always want to bring a notebook. Why do you want to bring paper for notes? Because when you're taking notes in the interview, it shows the person that's speaking to you that you're actually listening. Even if you're not a note taker, you want to take notes. So that way the message they receive is that you are listening to them. Even if you're not like going to look at those notes ever again, it's that message. Cool. So just make sure that you have blank paper ready to take some notes. I'll revisit that in just a moment. Recommendation letters. Now here, I know I got a random text from Mason Linker. He's like, I got a letter of recommendation from Scott Dennis in the mail. What is this from? Anybody else get that random letter in the mail? That's different. Anyone who had a 5K SC1 push got a letter of recommendation for your portfolio from Scott Dennis for having a 5K push from SC1. So you should check your mail if you had a 5K SC1 push. All right. Then you have President's Club, which is a letter of recommendation from the CEO of the company, right? So you'd put that in your portfolio. Other letters of recommendation to back your experiences would be any recommendation letters from a coach or from a guidance counselor or anybody to back your academics or any of that stuff. If you have any of those recommendation letters. What else is a certificate of accomplishment? Any awards that you received, like what Dalil was saying. If you were state champions in something, if you have a certificate to back that up. If you're certified in CPR, you could have that certificate, especially, that's not necessarily pertinent for our interview, but it could be pertinent if you're going into medical. Editing, if you had like an editor's choice award, you'd put something like that in there. You just want to have any type of certificate that could back up. Here, nationally ranked, right? If you were on the national sales report, I would put that on. Oh, another one that you can quantify is how many weeks you were on the newsletter. How many weeks you're on the newsletter? You can add that number up. That's a quantified number. Or how many weeks over $1,000, that you had, or consider the same thing in the summertime. Something like that. Okay? So any certificates to back up your work experience. Any additional thoughts there or questions?
Could you put quantify how many conferences you've been to?
You could, yeah. Definitely you could, that quantifies seeking personal growth. You could even put outside of Cutco conferences too that you've attended. GPW for you, or any other events you may have attended.
So would I put if I've already edited a book, would I put that in as a quantifying, say?
That's a good question.
I've only done it once, so I don't know if that would.
If you could back it up, if there's a certificate that could back it up, or a periodical that backed it up, or your name somewhere to back it up, for sure. How would I back that up on your resume process?
Did you get a letter of rec from a person you worked with or something?
No, because it was just I was connected with an author and she sent me her book. I could pull it up on my laptop and show that I have that manuscript.
Well, did she put your name on it? Edited by?
I'm not sure. She hasn't published it yet.
Yeah, once it's published, if she could put edited by, then for sure.
Yeah.
That you could put the title of the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a letter of rec.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be, I would add that just because it adds credibility to the statement.
Yeah.
It's a great question. You always want to be able to have a way to back up your statement. Any other questions, comments before I transition? We good? Cool. Then it says business cards if you have one. I like having the business cards, especially for an interview. For Mr. Gamboa, you don't necessarily have to give him your business card, but hey, you never know. It's nice to have them just to kind of be a professional. I saw by the way, if you keep seeing my eye twitching, there's definitely some irritation going on in there, so don't mind it. It probably looks weird on the video, but yeah, I don't know what it is, but hopefully I got some silver nitrate coming tomorrow. It's gonna kill whatever's in there, so we're good. Cool. We good on that though? Feel good there? All right. Next one that you want to do before the interview is research the company. So you want to know the company's mission statements before you go in for the interview with them. Now with Vector, it's easy. You know what Jeff is trying to get accomplished. If you had to summarize what we want to get accomplished, it's really Scott Dennis's talk. What are the 4 anchors of our region? What are the anchors of our division? What is the MP3G experience? MPG3, whatever that is. M3PG. Yeah, that one. That experience. You want to know what the mission statement is. You want to know what the outcome is and the driving force. Ours is right there. If you're interviewing to work with my company, it's pretty easy. Make sure your interview responses align with that, and you'll probably get the job. I mean, it's not rocket science, but you want to do your research before you come in. So what is Jeff trying to get accomplished? Well, starting with other companies. So the mission statement of Sears, we're committed to improving the lives of our customers. So that's what their mission is. If you want to apply for Sears, what is this one? This one's AT&T Global. Our mission is to exploit technical innovations for the benefit of its customers. The benefit of our customers. That's their mission, is to provide a great experience to customers. This one here is Microsoft. A commitment to our customers. Notice how a lot, pretty much every mission statement is going to be something about helping their customers in some way, shape, or form, or helping the people of that industry in some way, shape, or form, because they know through those people it creates what for the company? Profitability, right? So but they could only get the profits through the people. So therefore, they want to bring on people into their division that could help people create profits. See how this works? So anytime you learn about your company, you want to figure out what do they want from their people in order to provide profitability for their company. So what does it say? Visit the company's website. What is their company's growth? What is their, what are their goals or their trajectory? What are they looking to get accomplished? What are they about? What do they offer? Who do they work with? What are their revenues? Public relations, general history? What do they focus on? So if you know Mr. Gamboa's goals, and if you know the goals of the Florida United Division, well, what are they? Do you guys know? I'll help you out. Well, you say. What are you going to say?
Making college students prepare better for the real world.
Sure. What does he call that? Becoming a
Five star
recruit. So he wants people to graduate as a 5-star recruit. Ultimately, to what?
succeed.
They want to succeed in life, so that way when they succeed in life, what happens?
PR for
They give public relations for Vector. 100%. That's exactly what he wants. He wants people to kick absolute ass while they're here, so when they're 25, 30 years old, and they're like Hal Elrod's of the world, having 120,000 members in his community, international best-selling author, saying, oh, by the way, yeah, I sold Cutco. It was the best place for me as a college kid. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want people like the owner of Uber to say, yeah, that's what I did as a college kid. Every college kid should do that if you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur. Right? John Berghoff. The guy is Hall of Fame Cutco guy, but now he's, again, best-selling author, runs an unbelievable business for teaching appreciation inquiry for multi-million-dollar companies, and he's a branch manager, $750,000 Cutco sales rep. Says, oh yeah, that's a great place for people to start their foundation in life. That's what we want, right? So it's not just graduate as a 5-star recruit, it's graduate Vector as a 5-star recruit, but then PR for our company. That's his goal. How do you quantify that? From a division manager, he wants to have a $10 million division. $10 million division. That's the number that he wants to get us to. Right now, we're flirting with 5. We're flirting with 5 or 6, somewhere in that range, right? So he wants to grow our business to a $10 million. How do we do that? Well, Clearwater would have to step in from that $1 million. We would got to get to that $1.5 to $2 million range. Same thing in Tampa, same thing in Metro Miami, same thing in South Miami, Fort Lauderdale. The bigger cities, we got to be doing 1.5 to 2. The smaller cities, they got to be doing like 600 to $1 million, and the branches got to be doing between 100,000 to 250,000. Essentially, what it comes down to. That's the trickle down to have a $10 million plus division. So if you want to align with that and say, my goal, Mr. Gamboa, is if you know what his desire, their mission statement, what their mission is I want to help you. I want to help you achieve the goal of having great PR for post-Vector graduates and Cutco through college graduates, and I want to do my part while I'm here to help you towards that trajectory of having a $10 million division. By running a great business, running a great district, running a great branch, selling a lot of Cutco, team building, being a great TLA candidate. You guys see how that works? If you're going to apply for any job, same thing. You just tie in their big picture and what I can do to play my part to help you hit those goals. Everyone see? That's why you want to know their goals and align how you can help those goals come to fruition. Okay, so we got to know those goals first by doing some research on the company. And that leads into the next one, which is explain how your experience will help the company achieve this. So like a statement could be based on my experience in blank or based on my qualities, I feel like I could help the company. I feel like based upon my experience as a nationally ranked dancer, I feel like I can help the company grow because I'm connected with a lot of young people who are motivated. Once they realize that maybe dancing isn't going to be their career path, but they want to foster that competitiveness, I could direct them towards Cutco to foster the competitiveness in a healthy environment where they can also grow personally, professionally, financially. And I think I could be a great team builder because of that, which can also grow the business, which can then potentially have more leaders through college to help the $10 million business grow. Does that make sense? Something like that. And you can tie in whatever your strengths are and your experiences into the vision. I could do more examples if you want me to do more examples, but that was just one I looked. I looked at one of you, yeah. So, right. All right. What does this say? Who does Microsoft hire? So bring the best every single day. So that's kind of what they're looking for in Microsoft. This is what Sears looks for. So know what your desired outcome. So do you desire short-term, temporary position, long-term stable, or a chance for advancement? Based on the job posting and advertisement, what are they searching for? Talk to an expert in that field and be prepared to take an offer. So, for example, the one in Microsoft that I just showed you, what are they looking for? So if I was interviewing to work for Microsoft, I know that they want someone who's passionate and someone who's going to bring their best every day. So if you know what they're looking for and you know what they're searching for, you want to obviously tailor your responses to what they're looking for, right? Sears is the next one. Listed positions include email marketing manager, senior analyst of Sears Auto Center marketing team, whatever they're looking for. You want to know what you're interviewing. The worst part, ready? When you're interviewing candidates, Chelsea could probably laugh at this. Like people come in to apply for Vactor and they're like, so I'm coming in just kind of see what y'all have, or I'm coming in for the the customer service position, or I'm coming in for the call center work. You're in the wrong place, bub. What are you doing? You didn't research before you came in. So you want to know, like, what are your desired outcomes? So when you go in to meet with Mr. Gamboa, what are your outcomes? What are you after? I'm not telling you what to say, but I would say answer some of these questions. Are you looking for a short-term role? Are you looking for a temporary role? Meaning, I'm just, the reason why I'm working with Cutco Vector is because I just wanted to have a summer job, and now I'm just like kind of being exploratory from there. Probably not the best answer, but at least you know what you're after. Most of you are probably in this chance for advancement opportunity. My desired outcome out of this meeting, Mr. Gamboa, is to have options, and one of the options I'd like to have is to advance. So that way I can continue to grow personally and also grow professionally. So as I continue to grow my confidence and I'd like my opportunity to grow too, to be able to lead more people, to be able to coach, to be able to recruit. I'd like more responsibility as I'm growing. I'd like for you to give me more responsibility. Don't get me wrong, I'll still sell Cutco, but I'd like to have the opportunity to influence other people in the process. Know what you want. Know what you want and why you want it. If it's a chance for advancement, maybe it's a long term, maybe it's a stable opportunity beyond college. Like, hey, I'd like to have options beyond college graduation, and I know this has been a great position for some people post college. And I think if I work hard, it would be nice to have that fallback option for myself too, in case my dreams don't happen. At least I know I'm not going to move back home with my parents until I figure life out. At least I know I have a fallback plan. But my dream job is to do this, but this is a great plan B. Maybe this is my plan A, and if things don't work out, then I'll pursue plan B. Maybe it's just short term. Maybe it's just through college and why it's important to you. But have an idea of what you want. What is Mr. Gamboa interviewing for right now? What is it for?
TLA?
Leadership Academy. He's interviewing for TLA. What does that really mean, though? He's interviewing people for what?
Future AMs, BMs,
For future CSPs, AMs, and branch managers. We want to train you as leaders for 4 months, and then we want to train you for 4 months in the spring. So train you as a leader, and then based upon how you perform during those 4 months, then in January we'll figure out, are you best suited for selling, are you best suited for assisting and supporting, are you best suited for leading and being a branch? Then we'll slot you. But for 4 months we're going to train you as a leader. So what are you interviewing for? is to be trained as a leader. That's essentially what you're being trained for. Or you're interviewing for the opportunity to be trained as a leader. Make sense? So at least you have a desired outcome of what you're trying to get accomplished. Be prepared to take an offer. So if Mr. Gamboa tells you at the end of that meeting with you, he's like, you know what? I'd like to offer you a position for TLA. He's not going to. But if he did, be prepared to say, yeah, that sounds great. I'll accept. Because you're obviously interviewing for it. Right? You always get those kids when we run interviews. It's like, actually, I got to talk to my mom first, or I have another job interview later on this week, and I'm gonna check that out. Can I get back to you? What does that show? A lack of commitment, lack of comment, like they don't want it. Know what it take? Know what it really shows a lack of?
Commitment.
Decisiveness.
True.
Decisiveness, which also leads to commitment, right? So decisiveness is pretty important in the business arena because sometimes you only get one shot. Lindsay deals with this all the time. She's a corporate IT recruiter for BIC Graphic, and she gets this all the time where they go through the interview, they're like, I'm going to see you. And she's like, actually, don't even worry about it. We're going to fill the position with someone else. As soon as they say that, they lose their opportunity immediately. She's like, we need someone who's decisive and someone who's ready to accept an offer, and that's clearly not you. We wish you the best of luck in your search. Story of her life. Yeah, she's badass. Telling you. Yeah, she lays down the law for sure. All right, that's all the stuff before the interview. I know every time I'm trying to touch the eye and I catch myself from not doing it. It's painful. It's probably painful for you guys to watch. What's that?
If you touch your eye, it'll make it worse.
I know. It's self-control. All my years of personal growth got to this moment. Everything in life got me to the moment to not scratch the eye. It's very difficult. I scratch my feet on the floor just to see if it helps.
Have you washed it out with water?
Yes.
You're starting to make miles.
Yeah.
Maybe if you guys all scratch your eye for me, maybe that. Stop! It's making me cry. Actually, it brought a tear. All right. Let's talk about appropriate dress. So appropriate dress for the interview. So dress for success. Men, I'd wear a suit. What does a suit look like? I get a suit jacket, button-up shirt and tie, shoes polished, socks that match the pants, a belt that matches your shoes. You want to have your tie aligned with the buttons, aligned with the belt buckle, and aligned with your fly. So it's one straight line. So you don't want all stuff cockeyed all over the place. So you want everything in a line to match. And clean shaved. Don't look like this, So I'm clean shaved, look fresh. Cool, smell nice too. Pop in a breath mint. Anything else? Any questions for the guys? Don't go buy a new wardrobe, but here's what I would say. If you're going to buy one, I would do it before you meet with Jeff. If you're going to buy one anyway. Steve. All right, so but here's what I will say. If you're on a college kid budget, which some of you are, dude, don't be shameful. Go to a thrift shop. I guarantee you can buy a suit jacket there for under $10 and it will look fresh, right? So go to a thrift shop, and if you want to spend a little bit more, maybe go to Marshall's or TJ Maxx. And that tan jacket that I got, dude, that was on the clearance rack at Men's Warehouse, and it was half off of the clearance rack. I got that jacket for $50, and I like it, and it fits nice. And I was like, sold. So I am not the poster child for fashion. Jeff is. Jeff is fashionista, you whatever, GQ, all that stuff. Wears a tie with half of it cut off and stuff. I don't get it. But that's not me. Me, I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. I'm a frugal shopper, and I'll just look nice enough where it looks like I'm not a bum, right? So that's what I would encourage. Ladies, so that's gentlemen. Any questions from the gentlemen on that? Cool. Don't underestimate the sock game, dude. Comfortable socks, I'm telling you. I got them for Christmas. Get them for your birthday. Get them for Christmas. Telling you. I'm telling you, it's a big move. I didn't believe it, and now that I have some comfy socks from wherever the hell that is, J. Crew. What? The socks are so comfortable. All right. Anyway.
Funky socks.
What was that?
Jeff likes funky socks.
Funky fancy socks. You may get a compliment on those. I think that was like last year though. Now it's like, don't have any socks. Only show your ankles. Little baby socks. That's so uncomfortable. I would never do that. All right. Anyway, but you might get cool points. You might get cool points. Maybe do something like that. All right, ladies, pencil skirt to the knees. Okay, a suit jacket is preferred. Pants are viewed a little bit more Oh, here's a picture for the gentleman, just so you guys can have a see like of something that's viewed as professional. Okay, ladies, pants are viewed a little bit more casual than a pencil skirt, but of course, just something to keep in mind. Pencil skirt's important down to the knees. Okay, so the knees is important. You don't want something too high or too showy. You don't want to give the wrong impression.
Above the knee. Is that considered like?
Yeah, Rhiannon found that picture for me. I would say that's the highest you want to go, for sure. Sometimes dresses they're like mid thigh high, like that's not what you want to wear. Closed toe shoes. Oh, here's the big thing. Closed toe heels. Okay, closed toe low heels, because too high of a heel again could give a wrong impression, or you're a little wobbly, or even worse, you might like lose the balance a little bit. Yeah. So you don't want to have that happen. That could be embarrassing. Flats, not the ideal. Not ideal for an interview. Jeff doesn't really care too much, but I'm just giving you like in the professional arena. Closed toe low heels. If you're gonna wear open toe shoes, open toe heels, make sure you get a pedi. Okay, that's important. Make sure you get a pedi. Make sure the toes are looking fresh as far as that goes. Blouse, not too showy. Again, you don't want to give the wrong impression. I think that's important for the ladies. Okay. All right. So nothing too showy. You could see these girls. This is these three. I would even say that. That's like almost like she bends over. It might be a little risky. But these three, all right, So just something to keep in mind, okay? For an interview, you just don't want to give the wrong impression. You follow? And I'll say this in the most blunt way, okay? Us guys, okay? I would say me, I had years of training, but Mike Abramowitz as a new recruiter when I was like 20 years old. And a girl comes in and is a little showy, it's distracting. You follow me? And girls probably know what we're talking about. You probably catch guys looking all the time. You follow me? So don't put a guy in the position where they might look, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense? Cool. So kind of think that way. Guy, I know it's weird for me to say, but I feel like if I don't say that, like I know it's understood, but sometimes girls do it anyway. You follow me? It's weird, but in that setting, just something to keep in mind. Okay. Closed toe manis. I think a French manicure is viewed as the most professional too. Sometimes girls get all that zazz and all that stuff on there. I think that's nice. It looks really good for like prom. But I think just like the French is just the most professional. I think that's something to keep in mind. None of you smoke, at least I hope not. But if you did, don't before the interview. Make sure your clothes are dry, clean, and pressed. Any other questions for makeup? Here's the thing with girls as far as the makeup too. I'm just calling it what it is. It's a workshop. I'm just helping you guys out, you girls out here. If you wear too much of the foundation. And then in Vector, we hug a lot. What happens? It gets on the jacket. So just be wary of that. Because Jeff sometimes goes in for the hug. Not all the time, but if he does, just be wary of that, not to let the cheek hit the jacket, right? Because then that could view wrong. You follow me? I'm just giving you a thing. Same thing, jewelry. Just you don't want to wear too much jewelry pieces and perfume where it's like, whoa, so potent, right? So these are a couple of things. You don't want to offend the senses. Fingernails clean trimmed. Same thing with guys. Me, I have a very bad habit of picking at the cuticles and picking at the fingernails. Okay, if you do have that bad habit, try not to do it the week of your interview. I highly encourage you not to. It's bad. It's bad for me. It's bad for everybody. I got my first mani before my wedding, and now I've gone and got a few of those. But yeah.
When do we find out when our interview is? Because for girls, they want to actually.
It will be Tuesday. 100%. You'll have it on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Next week.
I'm kidding.
All right. Julie, or breath check. Okay, breath check is that on here as far as mints. No gum. Just do mints. Small mints are good. Altoids. Altoids are always a good choice. Any questions on appropriate dress?
Quick random, are we going to the Tampa office for ours?
You are meeting him in Tampa. Everyone else is here.
Oh,
He just want to give you a little bit more time. And on Tuesday it was pretty much full.
okay.
Cool. Any other questions under appropriate dress? Good. All right. The next one is basic etiquette. Basic etiquette. Maintain good eye contact. So you don't have to like look at him all the time, but I think it's important when you are giving your responses, try to make as much eye contact as possible. So what I'm doing right now is a perfect example of what to try not to do. Right. I just want to show you this. Like, don't do this all the time. So maintain good eye contact. Be present, no distractions, especially with your cell phone. It sounds so obvious. I would not even, I would bring your cell phone in just in case you need to look something up and he asks you to look something up, but I would 100% have it in airplane mode in your bag, like in your briefcase or purse or something like that. Like, don't even bring it in. Airplane mode, that sucker, for sure. Cool. So just something to keep in mind. No distractions, anything else, looking at the walls, looking at any of that stuff. Just be present. Maintain good eye contact. Shake their hand before sitting down and thank them for meeting them immediately. And let them invite you to sit. So this is military background, knows this already, but have them invite you to sit down. So when I always walk into the room, and anytime, this is how it's just a basic etiquette thing. I let them in first. Jeff is a gentleman, he'll probably do the same. And you don't want to sit down until he invites you to sit down. That's at a dinner table too, by the way. Just so you know, that's a basic etiquette. So he invites you to sit down. So as we come into the room, say, oh, please grab a seat. And that's when you, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Gambello, for sitting down and meeting me today. It's like the first thing that should come out of your mouth, or whoever it is that you're interviewing with. If you're interviewing for a bank loan for your nonprofit, same thing. They're let them feel like they're the authority, right? And in that sense. Basic etiquette. Be present, distraction, shake their hand. Firm handshake. Open palm with a slight tug. So how you want to do a handshake, all right? Kind of weird, but how this works is there's different, now there are different handshakes, okay? There's different handshakes as far as this goes. There is a philosophy of having your hand on the top. That means you're in control, all right? And you're in control of the conversation, which is the most common way. What I teach is the secret weapon way. Okay, the secret weapon is have your open palm like this, so that way they feel like they're in control. So they place their hand into yours, and once they connect the thumbs, now you actually have a better grip, and that's when you can now control the handshake. You see how that works?
And then you pull it in towards
100%, and you pull it in towards you.
Yeah, it's like a.
So
It's like a. Wait, so if you're going down, and then I'm shaking your hand, and then pull it toward me.
Okay.
and a little tug. So just hey, I'm Michael Bromwich, so nice to meet you. They place their hand, and then it's a slight tug. You feel a little tug?
towards you.
And it's a little tug. So it's a open palm,
It's a
slight turn, and then a tug. Open palm, slight turn, and a tug, and then you tug it in. Yeah, that's exactly right. You feel it? So you don't want to arm rape them, where you're like, right?
So now you're.
Yeah, just a little tug. It's a little.
Wait, you do it.
The point of the tug, it says right here. Oh no, it doesn't say right here. The point of the tug is to show confidence and authority. The point of the tug is to show confidence and authority. Here's what happens. This is specifically for anyone who's a little petite, right? If you're petite, you want to definitely master this handshake because you want them to feel your energy, that you are confident and capable to handle responsibilities. Does everyone see? Okay. Does everyone see this? Now, if you're already like a big dude and you're macho, right? You don't want to hand rape. You want to avoid the hand raping. That's important. If you're a lady, this is important. Avoid the dead fish thing. This little number, where they go in for the handshake and you give them the fingertips. And it's like, I don't even know what to do with this. Right? So the open palm handshake is important, okay? So the handshake, by the way, the handshake is one of the most underestimated parts of the interview. But it shows that you're confident right away. You want to give a firm hand, and sometimes I get a handshake and I lose the grip and I'm pissed, like, because they only got the half of hand. I'm like, I regrip it. if that happens,
It's so awkward. It's looking like this, like.
yeah. So that's why you want to try to keep the palm open where they place their hand in your hand, and that's when you get control. Cool. So get the thumbs to connect. That's the goal, and then you could gain control. Can I share your funny story about the handshake thing?
Yeah.
It's super inappropriate, but it's hilarious. Ready for this? So I was teaching this at a high school, at Countryside High School to be exact. I was teaching this at the school. So I was teaching this at the school, and I was teaching the handshake. I was teaching it. So I said, so what you want to do is you want to have the open palm, and wait for the other person to come into your hand like this.
Yeah, that's fine.
And like 3 or 4 kids started cracking up, and I missed it. So I thought they missed it, so I said it again. So then I said, so just in case you guys missed this, you want to have your hand open like this and wait for them to come into your hand. Then everyone started cracking up. I'm like, oh my. And then I like dug myself even. I was like, I just said come into the other person's hand, didn't I? And it was so awkward, embarrassing all at
You
once.
should have just said it louder.
In case you didn't hear me.
Come into
And
they'll get the job.
comes to your hands.
Hello, Jeff. I would like to come into your hand.
Super awkward, but true story, unfortunately. All right, so that's so kind of gives you an idea. This is the handshake, so you guys can see. Avoid the dead fish. Avoid the too strong. As far as this goes, a couple other things as far as the interview goes is matching and mirroring. We talked a little bit about this during the alliance. So you want to mirror Jeff. So if Jeff leans in like this, you could lean in. If Jeff is leaning back, lean back. You know, if he goes to turn his leg underneath the table, you could do the same. Like you just want to do the power of mirroring the person that's interviewing you, because people like people that are like themselves, right? That's how you can generate and gain rapport. All right. Before we transition into stage 1 of the interview, any light bulbs or takeaways so far at this point in time from the first 3 steps, which is before the interview, the appropriate dress, or the basic etiquette? Light bulbs, takeaways, or comments? Chelsea, and then we'll go Josh, and then Hannah, and then Dal.
Have a notebook to take notes on the interview because it shows that you're listening to them.
Yep, love that.
Aligning with like their mission statement, basically like kind of like relating to like relating back to the customer, also like kind of the same thing.
Similar, yeah, sure. Hannah, and then Dal.
Same as his, and like researching the company before you go in, so you can kind of also connect yourself to the company, so
Sure.
you can see the future.
Excellent. We'll go Dal and then Nicole.
With that answer.
Basically the same thing. I like knowing their mission statement and letting them know how to align with that.
Yeah, you go work for a bank. What's their goal? Profitability. How do they want to get profits? By retaining customers. Bank of America, I'll tell you right now, I work with them, and I don't recommend them at all. But I will tell you, they do a good job at retaining me. I mean, I've been with them now like 15 years, and they retain me. And that's their goal of the bank. I've tried to take my money out of them so many damn times, but they somehow keep me there.
So it's an unhealthy relationship.
It is an unhealthy relationship, and it is true because they there's like the fear of losing my money and the fear of penalizing me. I don't keep all of my money with them, so like I have a credit union, and I started with Chase on the side, and I date others on the side. I got these others. Then I have my non-brick and mortar, but they're my brick and mortar, and their rates are awful, and they're not very good, and but they keep me there. It's retention. So if you're working for a bank, you just want to hey, I'll do a great job at retaining your current customers, and I'll also do a great job at advertising and bringing more people into your bank, whatever it might be, right? So knowing what they're out to accomplish, for sure. And then Nicole, if there's anyone else, and then we'll continue.
Quantifying and having a way of backing up all your statements.
Good. Quantify and then back it up. Good. Anyone else here?
Just backing up your statements into like, just having them back up, like, they ask for it.
Credibility, right? Yep. Certifications, whatnot. Anyone else? Good. Good stuff so far? Good. All right. Let's continue. The next stage of the interview, stage 1, build rapport, connect, get to know one another. Now with Jeff, it's pretty easy. Just because Jeff is, I'm going to tell you all about him. I mean, Jeff is huge in sports. He's huge with Baltimore, right? So if you know anything, anything Ravens, anything Baltimore, anything that has to do with that city, talk to him about that. The Orioles, the, sports, any of that stuff. He's big with fashion. He's big with health and fitness, nutrition. any of that. He's big with family. You can talk about, he's a new uncle. He's getting married. The faith. I don't know if you want to bring that obviously into the interview, but I know that's big for him. Jesuit, like he's a Jesuit, so you could kind of like big Jesuit fan and supporter. So those are a couple things if that about Jeff. Now for me, whenever I go to interview a school for grab, or like I'm interviewing to get them to grab, immediately I'm looking around their office. I'm looking as fast as possible to where I can connect with them in some sort of level. No, it's going to be my office, so don't look at my stuff to connect with them. That would be in your favor, right? But you want to look.
Did you get this,
Oh, you graduated from USF like Mike. Wait, what? No, that won't work. All right, so you want to just obviously talk about that med school, like his whole comes from a background of doctors. So these are a couple of ways that you can connect with him and get to know one another. But find a common like. If you don't have any of those likes in common, his wife, his wife to be, she's a doctor, works with kids. These are ideas of some things that you can connect with him on. If it's not with Jeff, it's with someone else. Do research. When I interviewed with St. Pete College to work with them for grab, I Google searched the hell out of Dr. Stan Vitito. Like I stalked him on his LinkedIn, on his Facebook, the company portal. Like I had everything ready to go, so that way when I sat down with him, I can get into the school and let him be like, dang, I like this guy.
I got Ziploc bags.
Ziploc bags. That's how Chelsea won my heart with Ziploc bags, because she knew PB&J for Tampa Bay. Like that's a hot move. Jeff is into any of that stuff. Get on his good side. I'm not saying bring him a gift, but like, you have something that he could value. Like muscle milk. I actually have his muscle milk in my fridge from last year's interviews. So if you're interested in what he drinks, there's still one in that fridge from last year. You could bring that one. For first dibs, you could bring that one and be like, I saved this since last year for you. Dude, that would be so funny. Mr. Game, I have something that was yours. I thought you might want it back. I saved this since last year for you. That shit is funny.
All right.
I'm gonna do it. While you do it, like have like a little camera recording.
All right. So anyway, ask general questions. So you look around their office for rapport opportunities, travel, family, sports, arts, books, any of that stuff could be an option, or anything. If he's reading something right now, you could talk about that. Any stuff like that. It just kind of gives you an idea, stage one, to connect with him. Don't talk too much. Avoid dominating the conversation. Just take a genuine interest in them. This is really important. Don't over dominate. He's going to ask you, so how's your summer been? He does not want the long story. He wants the 90-second version. So have that thought about ahead of time. He does not care how you are, even though he asked. Like, give the abridged version of that, right? He wants to know, but he doesn't want to know, like, real, like so have it role play, have it rehearsed. Whenever anyone asks, so how are you? Tell me what's going on. 90 seconds, tops.
I went to
Avoid the ramble.
Disney World.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know any of that. Right. All right. So for the merchants in the room that like to talk, have it a little rehearsed ahead of time. Okay, that's an idea for you. Avoid dominating. Just take an genuine interest in them. Now he wants to be genuine interested in you and how your push was. So tell me about your summer experience so far. He's going to probably ask that question. I'll give you some ideas of questions that he's going to ask. It's right here. That's stage 2. Oh, before we go to stage 2, proper response to how are you? Fill the room with energy and enthusiasm for life. Outstanding. Thank you for asking. That's a good response. I like that one. Don't answer. I'm just getting by. Don't use that. I'm pretty tired today, actually. Thanks for asking. Don't say that one. Things to not say. And I know it sounds like, oh, I already know that. Just you guys got this, okay? Let's continue. Stage 2, questions to expect. I promise you, he's going to tell. So tell me a little bit about yourself. That's your opening statement. That's the 90 seconds. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Essentially, here's what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Put it on encourage. I would encourage you to put that on a cover letter. Now, we didn't talk about this before for interview prep, but this is a hot move. If you want to be above and beyond, put a cover letter together to go with your resume. And I attached a few in the email I sent you. You put a cover letter that kind of gives a Cliff Notes version of you and why you're interviewing, a synopsis. That's your 90-second statement. So it forces you to premeditate it and also gives him a chance to remember who you are beyond the interview. A cover letter to go with the interview. Cool? So that way when he takes all these resumes back home and he reviews these and like who's the top 100 that I'm selecting, top 125 I'm selecting, if he gets like a bottom 10 and like hypothetically if you're in the bottom 10, and he has 30 to go through, the cover letter is a good reminder of like, who is this person? Does everyone see? So that cover letter could be a good move. What brings you in today? That's a direct response. What brings you in today? If you're interviewing to work at a bank, what brings you in today? Well, always align your responses with the company's mission. Does everyone see? What brings you in today? I want to make some extra money and I got to pay some bills and I thought this would be a great way for me to do so. What the hell? Get your needy ass out of my office. Follow? Has nothing to do with you. What brings you in today? Well, what brings me in today is I feel that I'm a hard worker and I love working with customers and I know that I could bring great assets to your company, even better than that. What brings me in today? I know you're looking for hard workers that can help provide better service to your customers and increase profits for your company. And I know I fit those qualifications, so I wanted to toss my hat in the ring and earn one of those spots. Something like that. So what brings you in today? I know this is what you're looking for, and I know I have this, and that's why I'm here. I know you're looking for leaders. So, Mr. Gamble, I know you're looking for leaders to help grow this Florida United division to a $10 million organization, and that you want to have 5-star recruits when they're 30 come back and give testimonies to the Florida United division. I'm on board for all of that, and I want to help you hit your goals while helping me hit my goals. That's a great response. Something along those lines. What have you done in the past? If he asked you that question. So what have you done in the past? Well, be ready to kind of share some of your accolades. That's where you brag. You sell yourself. You sell yourself. Like you sell Cutco, you sell you. That is your chance. You get like 30 seconds for that response. What have you accomplished in the past? What are your strengths? That's another one. You sell you. You got like 30 seconds to sell you. What are your strengths? I would premeditate some of those. Reliability, dependability, punctual, hardworking, and then back that claim with reasons. I'm punctual, I'm patient, and I'm hardworking. I say those three because. Here's examples. You guys got that? Give a big three and back those big three claims up with reasons. 30 seconds. What are your strengths? Same thing. What's your reason for leaving your last job? He might ask you that one. I know other employers that might ask that question. Realistically, that's a trap question. That's a trap. They want to see if you're bringing drama in. And if someone says this, what was your reason for leaving your last job? The boss, oh my God, or the people I worked with, they just weren't good. What you're doing is you're complaining. You have no autonomy. The best response is, I just felt like I felt like I was ready for the next chapter of my life and to grow. And I felt like I wasn't able to do that in the previous environment. And I feel like with your environment, not only can I grow, personally, professionally, financially, I think I can help your institution grow too. That's a great response. What are your weaknesses? That's another trap question. If you ever ask, so what are your weaknesses? Always say, one of the things I'm working on is. One of my areas for growth, never say weakness. I think that's a trap as well. One of the things I'm working on shows that you're hungry to learn, to grow. What would you say is your biggest weakness with the job? Oh, phone calls. Versus, Mr. Gamble, I'm glad you asked that. Always start with that. I love that. Mr. Gamble, I'm really glad you asked that question. That's just a good, powerful way to collect your thoughts, but also, be assertive with your response. I'm glad you asked that. One of the things I'm working on right now is a little bit more. Here, give me an example. What's something you might say is a weakness, potential weakness for a Cutco rep? Cool. Time management, most common one. Second time management is organization. So time management. One of the things I'm working on right now is effectively using my planner. I'm way better at it than I was before Cutco, but it's something I'm still working on. And I feel like with the Leadership Academy training that you provide, I can next level or level up my time management skills. And by the time I'm done with the course, I'll be able to teach time management because I'm a servant leader. And once you teach me how to do something, I'll give it back and help other people. So that way we can continue to grow our Florida United division. You guys see that? That's how you turn a weakness question into a strength question. Light bulbs on that? You like that? Yeah. Cool. That's any question. Just understand your outcomes are always the same coming in from being prepared for the interview. Cool? All right. Why would you consider yourself an asset to this organization if you were hired? Pretty similar question, but just be ready to respond to that. Tell me about a time when you overcame a challenge in the workplace. That's a really powerful question they might ask. And besides money, what is most important to you about a job? The things that you want to say, be genuine of what's important to you, but make sure you back it up with a reason that can also be viewed to help that company. Besides money, what's important to you in a job? Flexibility. Why? Mr. Greenbow, I'm glad you asked that question. Flexibility is really important to me just because I like my independence and I want to have the freedom to be able to see my family, to be able to travel, but I also want to have the ability to work really hard when I'm in a position to work really hard. So if you give me the opportunity to run a branch office, for example, you bet your butt I will work very hard when I'm working hard, but I also want to have that flexibility to see my family when I want to see them or go on that family vacation and also be able to do my personal passions so I can work hard when I'm working hard but play hard when I'm playing hard. And that's why flexibility is really important to me. Something like that. Just a thought. Questions to ask. If you were to ask a success-seeking question, he says, so do you have any questions for me? He might ask that question. It's always good to ask one. It's always good to ask one question. One good one. What's a good one? You already know what type of advancement opportunities I could earn, but that's a great one. Shows that you're what? Growth-oriented, right? What can I look forward to learning during the training process? I like that one. You already know that from TLA, so maybe you pinpoint that. You could say, if you were me, I like this one. Like, if you were me, what's the number one thing that you would look forward to learning during the TLA process? If you were in my shoes. If I was your kid, what's the number one thing you would want me to benefit or learn from the TLA process? That's a really good question. What do you say most people would say that they enjoy about the Leadership Academy? Or if it's like your work, go and apply for Microsoft, what would you say your employees, what do you think they like best about working here? It's a great question. What are the 3 most important characteristics you look for in a TLA candidate? It's a great question. And that's when you pull out the notebook and write those answers down. It's a power move. Even if you know what he's going to say, it's just a power move.
I did that last year.
Yep. So you can pick one. Don't ask 3. Don't ask all of them. Just pick one. And I would also maybe coordinate with each other of like which question you're going to ask. So that way it doesn't look like I told you, make sure you ask this question. And then like 8 of you in a row ask the exact same question. That's like just something to think about. Leave a lasting impression. This is a great one. Last thing you say is, I just want to thank you for your time and consideration. This is a power move. You're going to love this one. In a few years from now, we'll be celebrating the growth of your business because of your decision of bringing me on board. I look forward to working with you. That is a great one. Assume that sale. Assume that sale. Now, in our division, you would say celebrating the growth of your business. You'd say celebrating the growth of our division to reaching that 10 million and developing 5-star candidates or 5-star recruits. I'm looking forward to become a 5-star recruit and help you develop more 5-star recruits. Yeah. Stuff like that. You guys got this? Cool. So that's stage 2. So let's debrief real quick before I wrap up. Big light bulbs on that section.
How to turn the weakness into a strength.
Good.
Yeah.
What else?
Don't be too wordy too long. Don't try to take control. Let him have the control. Just be concise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be concise.
Short to the point and then pre-prepared, like have everything, know what you're already gonna say beforehand.
Yeah.
Find your commonalities with them.
Yeah, try to think about that beforehand, right? Check out his LinkedIn, check out his Facebook, you know, he's on Instagram, I think, but, you know.
That lasting impression.
Lasting impression, it's a power move for sure. Good? Cool. One of the things that you could do for that lasting impression in this setting, not in all settings, but in this setting, is the few things that Jeff is looking for. I'll tell you right now. You already know this, but I'll tell you. Number one, he's looking for team players, team builders specifically. So if you have one or two PRs that are set up for training, that could be a power move for sure. Hey, I just want to let you know one of the things you're looking for is team builders. So I just want to let you know I have two of my friends set up for training this week. So let's build a United Division together. Power move. Okay. What else is he looking for? CPO. Hey, Mr. Graham, I just want to let you know I actually have 7 appointments ahead of me after this interview, and I'm ready to finish the summer strong and sell a lot of Cutco to earn my spot. Number 3, he looks for people that are financially responsible. Hey, Mr. Graham, I want to let you know that I already have my college savings set aside. I have my personal spending set aside, and I want to let you know I want to put this money towards my withholdings for long-term savings. Just to show you my commitment. Obviously, I can't buy a branch, you know, like and tell it like buy a position, but I want to let you know I'm fiscally responsible. And in order for the company to trust me with $8,500, I just want you to see that I'm fiscally responsible. Here's blank amount of dollars, whatever that is, $1,000, $500, $800. Chelsea's saying, what was your number? 8,500 or Will's? Well, your number was 8,500, 6,500.
No, mine was 6,500.
6,500. Will was 8,500. You know, that they just, you know, will have in there at that time of that interview, you know. So just something to think about. I don't know what that number is for you. Maybe it was RJ. RJ, I was talking with him today. A couple $1,000. It's your money. It's just in the bank. It's in it stays on your paycheck. So that way he shows, it says, hey, I'm not going to spend this money. If you're not going to spend the money anyway, just put it in the withholdings. Write him a check while you're there or just Venmo him and he'll put it into your commission account. And it just stays there. So instead of going to your bank account, it just stays there. So that way he sees that you're willing to save your money. What do you get in your bank interest? 0.01% off of $1,000. 0.01%. What is that? You might get $10 in a year.
That made 2 cents today.
You might get it. You might get $10 in a year. What's the exchange rate on Cutco? You run a branch, you get $8,500. No one's going to give you that return on your money. And the chance to run a business. So show you're fiscally responsible. Give them a check. I don't know what that number is, but whatever you feel comfortable with. Or at least set up your withholdings. Set up your withholdings. You don't have to give any extras. Zach Schachter, why did Zach earn a spot? Zach earned a check right there. Boom. 5 G's. 5 G's. Bam. Zach now has 9 in there. So what is Jeff doing? He's taking him out for breakfast. Friday morning before he leaves for the airport, he's taking Zach out for breakfast because he's like, I like this kid. Even though Zach has money in his bank account, he has it all set up, but he has 9G sitting in his withholdings for Jeff to see. I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying like those are a couple things Jeff looks for. Fiscal responsibility, team builders, CPO talks, right? So those are a couple of things I would consider with that lasting impression. So last final keys, okay? Remember to be yourself. Breathe, relax, but get into peak state before you start the interview. So I wouldn't look at your cell phone for like at least like 20, 30 minutes before you meet with him. I would get here early. So if your interview's at like 3, I would get here like 2:30, 2:15, something like that. So that way you could get prepared. Maybe have him watch you come in. Maybe you come in an hour early and just start phone jamming. So he just like sees you making calls when he's in between his meetings. You know, that might be a power move too. Just something to think about, right? Just something to kind of keep in mind. Be impressive. Rule of thumb is that a new hire will never be more impressive than the first interview. So just kind of keep that in mind. Build rapport with current workers, memorize their names, and create a lasting impression. And this interview, it doesn't matter, but if you go interview somewhere else, like build rapport with other people, because I know I do this. I ask people, so what'd you think about that person? Like if someone's second personing the interview, hey, before I give them a decision, what'd you think about that person? When I ask my assistants that, take their business card. You know, that might be an idea. I don't think he'll have them, but you want to do that in interviews. Thank you card after the interview. Handwritten is preferred. Write a thank you card. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. It was great meeting you and your staff. Chelsea H. Now for Jeff, I think a text message is perfect. But if you want to send him, you could send a message to like Luke or any of them and ask for his office address. Shoot, send one to his office. Sure, he'll get it eventually. It's a power move. But I think a text message is perfect too, or an email. Listen carefully, take good notes while he's talking. Be genuine and confident, direct and honest with responses, but rehearsed. Don't emphasize skills and job activities you don't want to do in the future, even if they represent great strengths for you. For example, you don't want to do admin, but you're really good at admin. Right, Mr. Campbell, I love doing spreadsheets. Like, I'm really good at spreadsheets and organization, even though you're like, I don't want to do that at all. Don't bring it up. So bring up the stuff you want to do. Leading people, recruiting, team building, selling, whatever that might be, coordinating events, whatnot. Most importantly, take the time to prepare. I would say a day. A little preparation will increase your chances and getting better offers than what's available. And that's what happened with Lindsay. Lindsay went in for the job at Big Graphic, and they offered her a better position than what she applied for. She actually got like recruited from her other job, but she was so impressive in the interview process that they offered her more pay and a better opportunity. Mike Nisbet is probably a better example. He interviewed for the internship position, and he was so impressive in the interview that they offered him the analyst position, which is going from like 35K to 68K. Right? So just something to think about. Cool. So that's the creating job offers workshop. And the next step for each of you would be to put your resumes together. I sent you an email with a couple sample resumes of what you can put together and just take a little bit of time. You could just, essentially what I would do, I would pick one format that you like and just change their name and change all their info, and then just put all of your info in there. It should maybe take you 30 minutes to an hour at most. The cover letter, I would highly recommend you to do the cover letter. I think that's a great idea. Sent you a couple of those as well. And other than that, I would say